You're listening to Achtung Grassroots.
So we're here today in Chislehurst for the game between Glebe FC and Erith and Belvedere in the SCEFL Premier Division. One of the reasons we came here today was because 6th place Glebe, not doing too bad overly, but not really threatening the promotion favourites. But they are up against Erith and Belvedere, who are currently sitting top of the tree. And if everything goes their way today, Erith and Belvedere, with a win here and results going their way between the Phoenix and Homesdale game, you could see Erith and Belvedere promoted. So we're just sat in the game. The game's just started. We've had a bit of a tinny music system, but Glebe are in their red and black, kicking from left to right. Erith and Belvedere are in their white and blue, kicking from right to left. As you can imagine, that's the opposite. It's got quite a big game feel to it. Earlier on, we was just in the stand about 20 minutes ago, and there really weren't a lot of people here at all. But now it's filling up quite nicely. Glebe's actually a really nice little setup. It's not as huge and sort of commercially nice on the eye as somewhere like Sheffield United. But it is, but it's quite nice. They've got a really nice little clubhouse section, so you'd grab a beer, then come outside, and that's what people seem to be doing now. So yeah, nice little pitch, good turnout. There was the threat of a pitch inspection earlier on, which it passed. But there's an awful lot of sand in the middle of the pitch. The game is in flow now. Erith and Belvedere are starting the better side. There's a back pass there. Oh, corner already. We're only about a minute or two in. There's a bit of a mistake at the back from Glebe. So the eldest of the Avery juniors is with me today. What do we think the score is going to be today, mate?
I'm saying 3-1 Erith and Belvedere.
3-1 Erith and Belvedere. So would you take the win if you was Erith and Belvedere?
Yeah, I'll take the win.
Good, exactly. I'm going to go 2-0 Erith and Belvedere. They've had some decent results recently, Erith and Belvedere, but they've not been firing on all cylinders as they were at the start of the season, and Glebe have been a bit hot and cold. But I'm going to go 2-0 Erith and Belvedere, and we'll check in when anything happens. We'll actually stay with this because there's a corner coming in from the left-hand side due to that mistake. Corner comes in, and it's cleared nicely by Glebe. So we'll come back when there's any action. We're only a couple of minutes in, and Erith and Belvedere have really playing some nice stuff. They won a foul in the middle of the park and played a long ball up to the front line. A nice call inside from the player on the edge of the box. I believe it was the 10 who's tried to flick it over his shoulder, where there was the right winger or the right midfielder was just waiting on the edge, and he sliced it a little bit, to be fair, which was a shame because of the movement. We've now got a player under 7 on the left hand side running with the ball. He's beat the full-back at Glebe. Has he got it? There's a little bit of arch. It's a lovely cross in with the right foot from the left hand side and headed again clear by Glebe. I remember when we watched Erith and Belvedere at the start of the season, me and Nick against Welling Town, and also in their game against Erith Town a while ago. They get the job done. They're a good side, and they're quick, and they're quite powerful up front. They're 3 boys up front, the 7 and 9, and I can't see that other number over there. He's facing us, unfortunately. But yeah, they're very powerful runners with the ball. The 7 is very right-footed, playing on the left wing. So the plan there is obviously to cut in or pull the ball back when you get to the byline to get across. But yeah, I've been the few times I've seen Erith and Belvedere this season, I've been really impressed with them. Glebe nearly just having a chance there on the right-hand side. That just went wide. Which number was it? 11. Number 11 for Glebe. So yeah, it's a game that I think Erith and Belvedere should win. They'll be disappointed if they don't, obviously, how they're doing this season. But I've been impressed with the Deers this season. I think if they do get promoted as champions, that'll be worthy champions. You know, apart from a few little blips here and there, they've done well. But if they was to go into second place, the way the playoff situation is, as we explained in the last Erith Town game, I'd quite fancy them against some of the teams at the bottom of Step 4. They've got a good outfit, they're doing well, and they've got a lot of ambition. Erith and Belvedere come close to taking the lead then. We're only 7 minutes into the game. A corner comes in from the left hand side. Keeper does well to get up and punch it clear, but he doesn't really get enough on it. He can't catch it. It basically just goes straight up, straight down. The 9 who's within the 6-yard box, pretty much a free header, heads it and it goes over the bar. But yeah, it's Erith and Belvedere, they seem a lot more confident on the ball than Glebe, and it's nice to see. There's a lot of talking. We heard their manager on the side say that communication is key, which was a really important thing, obviously, to say, ironically, because he's communicating well. But communication is key, and they're really talking well. Like a lot of where players need to be, what need to do. And you can hear it in the background now. There's a lot of talking. That's a great ball here on the left hand side. and that's Erith Road. We're going to stay with this because Erith, when they do push forward, they do look good. So we're going to stay with this now. The 7 on the left-hand side again with his right foot, curls it beautifully with the outside of his foot up the wing, which wins the throw. Throw coming in from the 8 now, just by us in the stand. So he's just going to come in. There's not much room to actually have a run up between the stand and the side of the pitch. There's a big pole there, so obviously something to get him on. Nice big throw from the 8. That's a great throw. Flick on. Oh, the keeper punches it clear again. The keeper literally just punched up someone's head. Clip back into the 10. Yes, there we go. 1-0 to the Deers. I'm glad we stayed with this. Yeah, what a great header. Really nice build-up play there by Erith and Belvedere. And, we're only 10 minutes in nearly. Deservedly taking the lead. 1-0 Erith and Belvedere. Erith and Belvedere now double the lead in only 12 minutes. A really, really nice run on that left-hand side by the 7 again. I really need to find out what his name is. Really, really good run down the left-hand side. Cuts it back. He's just in front of the stand. Hits a really nice diagonal cross back across to the far post. Headed back in, and then the 10 volleys in superbly. The keeper has absolutely no chance. This will be a big high-scoring game if it stays like this, and this is no disrespect to Glebe, but Erith and Belvedere, they're coming here to do a job, and what a job they're doing so far. The talking, the communication, the way they're tracking and just, really just playing for each other is superb. We'll keep it going from the kick-off, just so if you can hear some of this. They're 2-0 up now, and they're sprinting towards the back line. 2-0 up 12 minutes. He's closed that down well. But you can hear them. You can hear how they're all encouraging each other. This is really, really good stuff. I'm really impressed with Erith and Belvedere today. I think they're playing really some good stuff. The 7 again has just done really, really well on the left-hand side. He's got the ball well. Gone on. Oh, that's a foul in the park. So the 7's got the ball on the left-hand side, run down the wing, gone to the byline, got the crossing, but unfortunately it's not in the end. Imagine, dear listener, if you will, the Gareth Bale goal against Barcelona and Copa del Rey when he ran off the pitch and no one thought he'd keep it in. Imagine that, but in Chislehurst. Just while there's a little bit of a break here, we will just have a quick look at the teams, because Glebe, this is a new stadium for us on Achtung Grassroots. We've been to see Glebe before, but that was away at Phoenix Sports, who ironically they need to be losing for Erith and Belvedere to win the league, and they're currently 1-0 up against Holmesdale. But so just have a quick look at the history of Glebe. So they were founded in 1995. They're nicknamed the Foxes. I think it might be because they're on Foxbury Road, you never know, or Foxbury Avenue, whatever it's called. They were founded as the junior side, Glebe Globetrotters, in 1995 by the chairman Ricky McMillan and his wife Grace, and they were initially based in West Wickham and started with just an under-8s team who obviously grew and progressed and done really, really well. It says just for a moment here, but for years Glebe were nomads, seemingly unable to secure a permanent home. For the first 2 seasons, the senior side ground shared with Holmesdale, but now obviously they are here in Chislehurst, which is really nice, a nice little setup, as we've said. Glebe have a shot and keeper just saves. Just to have a look at some of the honours they've won. So they were SCEFL Division 1 champions in 2016. They won the Kent Invicta League Cup in 2015-16 as well. London FA Senior Trophy winners in 15-16 and London FA Senior Trophy runners-up in 16-17. So, they've got a pretty decent history, especially in the last sort of 10-15 years when it comes to non-league honours and titles. As we know from last season's Achtung Grassroots shows and just covering SCEFL as closely as we did, they were looking at getting promoted. It was between really Chatham, Glebe and who else went up? Sheppey. It was between those 3 for promotion. Glebe were doing really well for the majority of the season, but then it just sort of fell away at the end. And this season there's a little bit of an air of a rebuild. I went on their Twitter earlier on and they were talking about the game, and they were saying about somebody commented about rebuilding and how we're getting on. The visitors' history, Erith and Belvedere currently got the ball, a little bit hard done by, but Erith and Belvedere is a team we know quite well. We've covered them a few times on this show. They celebrate their centenary year. Brian Sperrell, who's behind the goal, ironically, he's their historian and statter. We're going to have a chat with him soon, maybe at half time, just have a little interview with him, so he gets on. He's does a lot of good work behind the scenes. So they were formed in 2022, and they've also been a little bit around all over the place with different names and that kind of thing. They've also changed their badge. They've got a different kind of deer on the front. But yeah, they're one of the more well-known ones in the non-league level. They're just, ironically, Erith and Belvedere, left-hand side, have got a throw. Throwing comes in near post again, and it goes out for a corner. But yeah, so there's your historical breakdown of both teams. Last year, I mean even this year as well, but last year this was a big fixture, as in Glebe were going for the title and Erith and Belvedere were in the top 6, but now the roles are reversed. Erith and Belvedere are going for the title and Glebe are in the top 6. So it's always interesting watching these games because, you know, every other season you can have different teams challenging for titles, so it's definitely something to keep your eye on. I've also been politely informed I may have said centenary year and then founded in 2022, which doesn't even make it 1 year, let alone centenary. So apologies if that last voice note was incorrect. Glebe have been given another free kick on the edge of the area. A little bit of a cynical little foul there by Erith and Belvedere that stops the play. Referee's walking back the ball now. The number 3 is standing over the ball. It's a good angle from here, I'll tell you this now. If he scores from this, it'll be angle of the day. Just shame I can't film it and record my voice notes at the same time. So it's now about to come in, sort of just to the right hand side slightly. On the left foot, nicely swung round.
Oh, good save.
It didn't go in, so the angle doesn't mean anything. 2-0 Erith Belvedere. And now they half the lead, Glebe, and they've now made it 2-1. The ball's played through to the back line really quite nicely, and then it's one-on-one with the goalkeeper just inside the 18-yard box, rolls it into the bottom corner. Keeper's got no chance really. It was nicely put, wasn't it? Nicely put away.
Finish should have done a bit better.
Yeah, the defensive line was beaten a bit easily, I will say. I still think that Erith and Belvedere have been a more dominant side. I think the last 10-15 minutes it's been a little bit quiet compared to how the first quarter of an hour, 20 minutes, they were like a freight train, nothing was stopping them. But still 2-1, it's not a bad little cushion to have. As we're about to go into half time, we've still got 5 minutes to go. And then it certainly makes it a lot more interesting now. 2-1's always one of those score lines that's always hard to keep hold of if you're an attacking team. They always say it's always bad when their team scores before half time. But we'll see how this goes because Glebe have been a little bit better in the last 15-20 minutes, but not too much more to really threaten Erith and Belvedere. And I mean, this just shows really the urgency in the game. The ball's just gone back to the goalkeeper, to his feet. He can pick it up, and he was literally stood with it under his foot for about a minute, and no one was running towards him. And you think they've just scored, Glebe. It's 2-1. You know, sort of, you can arguably say the momentum's with them because of that last goal, but they just literally let the goalkeeper stand there with his foot on the ball without realising that they need to close it down. But yeah, it's been an entertaining first half. Good tackle by Erith and Belvedere there as Glebe were attacking down the right hand side, and the goalkeeper again is just standing there and no one's closing down, and he picks it up. Rolling up to half time, 3 minutes to go. Half time here at Foxbury, and we're back in the bar where it's a little bit warmer, but it's currently Erith and Belvedere who are leading Glebe 2-1. Not a bad half of football in truth. I think, as I said in an earlier voice note, Erith and Belvedere really come out of the traps well. Like, they really played well, and the way they was attacking, they wanted to get the job done. And Glebe aren't a bad side where they are in the league, so to be that dominant in the opening 20-30 minutes was a real statement. Glebe slowly got back more into the game, but not really threatening too much. There were some cheap free kicks given by the referee. Not cheap as in the referee shouldn't have given, but they were silly little fouls, like little trips, which saw Glebe have a few chances on the edge of the penalty area, but they didn't really do a lot with them. And I'd say it was the goal deserved. I wouldn't necessarily say so, but you know, they took their chance and they've made it 2-1 at the moment. Glebe have to do more if they're going to get anything out of this game, and Erith and Belvedere, the way they're going at the moment, they will still win this quite comfortably. I thought it'd be a bit more comfortable than 2-1 the way the half started, but that's football, that's non-league football for you, listener. It's enjoyable, it's unpredictable, and you know, that's why we come to these games. I had a look at my list earlier on. This is my 9th non-league game this season. I had 10 last year, so that's 19 games I've been to so far in 2 seasons. That doesn't include some of like the Mill Lionesses games I saw or other grassroots games I was a part of, but none of the games I've seen have been goalless. So there's always goals in these games. So Avery Junior, who's the eldest, what did you think of the half?
It was an alright half. I think Erith and Belvedere were definitely the more dominant team. I don't really think that the goal was deserved, like you said.
What, from Glebe?
Yeah, from Glebe. It was just that defenders switched off for a second and the ball's gone over and they've just put it in the bottom corner.
Yeah, but we don't want to be too harsh on Glebe. You know, I don't think they're at the calibre of Erith and Belvedere. Oh, and we're currently in the pub at the moment, or in the bar, should I say, and Notts County have taken the lead against Wrexham. So, there's Grassroots on the telly, and this is a level that hopefully one day one of these two teams might get to. But, 2-1, I'd say is probably a little bit generous for Glebe. But, there's only one goal in it, and it makes for a competitive fixture. So, up the Deers and up the Foxes, and final word for half time.
Anything could happen in the second half, I think.
Anything can happen indeed. That's why we love non-league grassroots football. So we're just at the start of the second half now, and we're with Erith and Belvedere, club historian and stato, as your Twitter says. Isn't that right?
Yeah, and secretary.
Yes, so Brian Spurrell, or as pronounced if it's Continental Spurrell, which we might like as well, but we'll let him decide. We'll let him decide what it is. What did you make of the first half, Brian?
Well, we started like a train, didn't we? We started well, got 2 early goals and relaxed a little bit. They got more territory and they got a nice little goal from Philpott, who's always dangerous.
Yeah.
But our second goal in particular was a beaut, wasn't it? It was, Billy Bennett. The volley was fabulous.
Yeah, it was a great finish. Yeah, especially from the header back across goal, wasn't it? I think
Anthony Adesite, that was it. Who got the first goal, so he scored the first, made the second.
I think, to be honest with you as well, without trying to be too disrespectful to Glebe, because it's a nice setup, it's a nice pitch. It seems quite a good little atmosphere here. I'm not sure if they deserve the goal per se. I think Erith and Belvedere, even when it was a little bit sort of slower, they were really in control of the game. But 2-1, you're still in the driving seat.
We gave them a bit too much territory, I think, and they capitalised on that.
Yeah, exactly. And
we were behind the goal first half, waiting for it to come down our way all the time.
Yeah, we were just saying as well, seven points needed from the last 4. How do we think the season overall started? Because your season's a bit like that first half, really, like an absolute freight train at the beginning, but it's all sort of come away slightly, isn't it?
We were tearing up the record books to begin with. 11 wins to start with. It was like, as a stato, it reminds you of Tottenham 1960-61, win the first 11 games, and then lost and drew a couple. But Tony Beckingham, who was the manager for the first 18 games of the season, we won 15, drawn 2, lost 1.
Yes, they're great stats, isn't they? Fantastic stats.
Yeah, oh, terrific, yeah. And we're well clear, but had a disagreement with the chairman and resigned. Then Andy Constable, who was second in command, took over. Won his first 5 games. Then we had a little blip. We had 1 win in 7, and the pack became a little bit closer. And the board thought we better freshen things up a little bit, and moved the management team across and got a new management team in under Matt Longhurst, who's got bags of experience at the next level, step 4.
You and I were saying privately before the game over social media, that it's with the way the playoff system is with the tier 5 teams and tier 4, it's quite tricky in the sense that it becomes like a little bit of a round robin playoff thing, doesn't it, between the team who finished top and those who are near the bottom of tier 4. But you've got a good chance, haven't you?
We've got a good chance. If we win this today, we're on 81 points and we're assured of second place at least.
Exactly.
Which would put us in the playoffs at the worst.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I mean, we were, Nick and I, who we do the shows with, we went down to Sheffield United versus Beckenham the other week, and they're 2 good sides there. But I mean, the way you've played this season from the games I've seen, let's not get too carried away and say you'd beat the Sheffies, but you'd definitely give them a game, certainly. But no, it's
Danny Lear coming on from Marcus Elliott there. Danny's very dangerous up front. He's one of our top scorers who's still at the club. We had our 2 top scorers have left. Tunde Aderonmu and Nathan Palmer have left recently.
On to bigger, better things? From our point of view, no.
Nathan's done some well in town actually. I'm not sure where. Tunde's back at Beckenham where he pulled up trees last season.
Oh, okay, yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, but no, it's
Danny came to us originally on loan from Ramsgate, and he scored 20 goals last season. He's on 18 this season, so he's.
So a decent return, and you do find as well some of these non-league teams in the nicest, and not necessarily Erith and Belvedere, but it's a little bit of a merry-go-round, don't they, where they sort of go do circuits. I think Dave Martin, who's at Phoenix this season, had about 3 or 4 clubs last year. So
he's had 2 games with us.
Yeah, there's exactly the start of the season. That's
quite
right.
Yeah,
that's right. And then he went on to the pitching in South East, didn't he? With Canterbury. But no, good catch up, Brian. I'll let you enjoy the rest of the game now. Oh yes, and Brian, also you wrote the centenary book, 100 Years of Erith and Belvedere, if I'm not mistaken.
Century of Deers.
Century of the Deers, there we are, yeah. So
a century of Deers in that it covers 100 years of the club, and it also focuses on 100 of the personalities who've been with the club over the years. So Century of Deers meaning two meanings really.
And how much is the book?
It's £12 and it's from acod@gmail.com. People can contact me through that email address.
Or if they go to
or indeed come down to the ground.
Or if they come down to the ground, yeah. So if you're a sort of a non-league aficionado, I think that's the word, isn't it? Aficionado. I missed that in. Apologies. But yeah, so get that book, and also just one more thing as well. You done well on Popmaster a few years back. Am I right in saying?
I was Champions League runner-up in 2021. Yeah.
Oh, Popmaster. There we are. And do we still listen now? Now Ken Bruce has moved.
Not as regularly. It's not as easy to get Radio 2 where I am. But, I've listened to a few of them.
Oh, so there we are.
I would have been champion if it hadn't been for Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
That one Johnny Cash question. But the guy who won, the guy who beat me in the final, came down to a match last autumn. He came down from Ross and Y, where he lives.
Oh, and who did he follow? I hope we beat him.
But no, he's a Liverpool supporter.
Oh, right.
He's Ross and Y. But he came all the way to Erith, especially to meet me and watch a game.
I hope he didn't rub your nose in the fact he beat you, or have Johnny Cash as a ringtone.
He never does, no. But his last question was about Cilla Black.
Oh,
and if I got his last question, I'd have won it.
Oh, there we are.
I always reminded him of that.
So it's a fine margins in non-league and fine margins in Popmaster.
Absolutely.
There you are, dear listener.
And one last thing. If you get the book, you'll find out the only person to have both played against the Deers and appeared in Blackadder.
And who was that? Oh, there we are. No, you got to buy the book. Fine. I'm going to press send and no one hears what the answer is, but I'm going to ask him off mic. But yeah, get the book and enjoy Popmaster. Erith and Belvedere just literally on the edge of the penalty area, about to take a free kick. Who's the 2 who's going to take it, Brian? I've got a co-commentator this week.
That's Theo Osinfalorin, who's joined us recently, one of Matt Longhurst's signings.
Oh, okay, yeah, there we are. So, as we can hear there, we're expecting a follow-up. Basically, Erith and Belvedere were on the attack. Referee does well to play the advantage. I think the ref's had a good game so far. He played the advantage, see what would happen, pulled it back for the free kick. We're now lining up this free kick here, number 2. The wall is ready to go. The referee's walking back now. We're about to blow the whistle. We are literally about 19 yards out. If this hits the target, this is in. Oh, it's hit the wall. Everyone's calling for handball. They're not going to give that. There's a follow-up shot on the outside. Keeper holds well. Erith and Belvedere not happy, but really should have beat the wall personally. They're saying it's a handball where it hit the wall. The wall should have been beaten, but 2-1 it still is to Erith and Belvedere. Erith and Belvedere have another free kick on the left-hand side here. It's getting a little bit kick out there from Glebe. The bench aren't overly happy. So we're now just on the left-hand side. The ref blows the whistle, indicate it can be taken. It's the 2 who swings it in. That's a lovely free kick. Bounce is good. Oh, that's unlucky. The keeper gathers well. The management era of Erith and Belvedere, you can hear them really getting their team motivated and going, and considering that they've Glebe have just tried to run on the break there, Erith and Belvedere just won the ball back and cleared it. I think it's got a little bit kicky. I was just saying to my co-commentator Brian here, he's a bit like Martin Tyler to our Gary Neville, ain't that right, Brian?
I was once Trevor Brook into the other guy's Motty.
We've got to be careful, Trevor Brook and Millwall podcast.
Fine, okay.
Got to be careful on that. Careful with that one. But no, it's got a little bit kicky. I'm only joking, by the way. It's got a little bit kicky out there, but it's it's still a good game. We've got about 15-20 minutes left to go. Another goal for Erith from Belvedere would obviously secure the fixture and make it a little bit less squeaky bum. But yeah, Erith from Belvedere are in command of the game, and it's quite a downhill pitch, the way they're kicking now Erith from Belvedere, so hopefully the momentum should be with them. Me and Nick, who do the main show, obviously have been to a few grounds this season. What would you say is probably the nicest ground in SCEFL, putting your bias aside?
That's a very good question.
They're all so different, aren't they?
Well, very different, yeah. The best away day, along with nicest ground, I think, would say Whitstable last October. It was the last really sunny day of the Indian summer we had. I was sitting on the harbour side eating seafood, went down to the ground, very nice welcome and great bar afterwards. It was a 2-2 draw. They equalised in the 97th minute, but it was, apart from that, perfect day out.
Yeah, I think Fisher either been there recently or they're there today, and they're making a big thing of it being a bit like a sort of weekend away type thing, because as you say, it's quite a nice place. But so would you say it's Whitstable then is probably your favourite?
From this season, certainly, yeah. Some of the other guys usually behind the goal I think they voted Deal as their ground of their away trip of the season, because we won there and it's a very professional ground setup, good setup.
Yeah, no, it is a nice setup. But I think for me, I think I do like I like Erith and Belvedere, how close it is to the pitch. Got a nice little bar area there as well. Always important. We do highlight the importance of bars. You a drinker, Brian, or not really?
Not a heavy drinker. You see me on the red wine after a game at PVR.
Absolutely, a nice. Is it a Rioja, Brian?
It's whatever they give me. It's a Merlot generally.
It's whatever they can get from the local Tesco.
That's right. Absolutely,
but no, I have to say one I do like as well is Phoenix Sports, because it's a real bizarre one. I've tried to explain it to listeners who haven't been. It's kind of like a really big like cricket pavilion, isn't it?
That's
With like the bar next door to it. But yeah, I like that. We'll stay with this now. Erith and Belvedere, I'll say about 10-15 yards outside the penalty area, given a free kick. Referee's going to walk back the wall. Erith and Belvedere management aren't happy. They feel they should be allowed to play a bit more, Brian, but I think that was probably the right decision. But we'll see. So the ref's walking back the wall now, as we can see, or as I'm explaining.
That's Billy Bennett, the 10, who was at Sheffield last season, won the title with them.
Yes, you're right. Yes, I think he's been quite instrumental today. He's not been as nippy and pacey as some of your wide players who might get more accolades, but I think he's had a good game so far. The 10.
Trip here this season because the grand show was Stansfeld.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah,
we played Stansfeld in December. It was a bizarre experience. We're standing behind the goal and there's ice and snow. I don't know how the game finished, to be honest.
I actually said as well, slightly off topic from this game, I said that I think Stansfeld have been a surprise package in the Prem this season.
They started very well,
so,
didn't they? Yeah.
Because I came down here last season for the SCEFL, was it the Challenge Cup game with Fisher, where Fisher were very dominant. And considering Fisher were about mid-table last year towards the bottom, and they was in Division 1. I'm not sure if that was handball, but still was back to the goalkeeper. But that was in Division 1. There was a clear difference between the SCEFL Prem Division 1, but I think they've done quite well since getting promoted.
They've done very well, yeah.
I mean,
the bizarre thing about that game was watching the game with ice and snow on the ground and listening to a World Cup quarter-final at the same time.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you're right.
So Portugal-Morocco was the same.
Erith and Belvedere on the attack again. A ball played out wide to the 11 from the 8 after a nice little bit of build-up play on the right-hand side. Ball's going to be played back to the captain now. Oh, they are not happy. That's a late tackle there from the Glebe number 12. I think, did he just say, Brian, that he's just come on? Yeah. This goes with a theory of people thinking if they've come on, or it's their first challenge, they get away with one.
I've only just come on.
But the thing is, it was a late tackle. It stopped a build up of play. Yeah. It can feel a little bit hard done by where he's not been on the pitch long enough, but it doesn't matter if you're on the pitch 1 minute or 90 minutes.
Only in the sense that he's the one to be booked and the other two haven't been in previous.
That's what I mean. It might think it's a little bit harsh there. But yeah, so we'll stay with this now. Again on the left, the two's probably going to whip this in. what is a fine now in semi-pro level with yellow cards and all that? That's probably what, about 20 quid?
12.
12.
Yeah.
That's not far off from when I used to play. I definitely weren't this level. Right, so here we go now on the left-hand side. Who pays the fines anyway, the player or the club?
And the club pass it on to the player.
Seems right as well. Even though that might be, I feel sorry for him, that might have been his beer money after the game. Free kick coming in from the left-hand side now. Let's see what happens here. It's going a bit too far away. Let's watch that line. That's a lovely whipped in. The keeper's caught it again. I tell you what, there's been a few of these. I tell you what, if Glebe do get back into this game, which I'd be surprised if they do, but if they do get back into this game, I think it'll be because of things like that, Brian. In truth, don't you? You've got, like, how many free kicks now or corners have the keeper just plucked out in the air?
Had a few chances, and the longer it goes on at 2-1, the more you're risking something happening at the other end.
Yeah, exactly. Erith and Belvedere again, they're huffing and puffing, but that house just isn't being blown in. The right hand side again, the 7 had a really, really good drive. Blimey, Glebe nearly scored. Yeah, and he's spot on there, the manager, to be honest with you. Once again, it was a really nice run down the right hand side by the 7. What's the 7's name, remind me?
Prince Dumafriye.
Yeah, very good player. Yeah, I think probably man of the match today,
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah, definitely from the first half. He's done a lovely run down the right hand side, crossed it in, maybe a little bit too far back. It came back to another Erith and Belvedere player who's got the ball, tries to size up a shot. It's been blocked nicely, but then Glebe instantly broke down the other end, run down the touchline, and a very similar thing there. The ball's come across, and the Glebe player isn't tall enough, reminiscent of Gaza in '96. Erith and Belvedere, they'll be happy with the win if they get the win, but it should be a bit more comfortable than it is. 5-6 minutes left to go, I'd say, roughly, and it's still 2-1 to Erith and Belvedere. And we've got a red card now, because Glebe were trying to sort of build up an attack, and an Erith and Belvedere player, I can't see who it is. What number is he there? Danny Lear, yeah. So he basically he was obviously already on a yellow card, but he's kicked the ball away, and I'm guessing that yellow card was for unsporting conduct. So Erith and Belvedere down to 10 men with about five minutes left to go, which should include injury time as well. So I mean, it's not made it harder for them because they're winning, but it's made it harder for them in the sense that it's a silly red, really. I don't know the guy particularly well, obviously. I'm not sure if that's in his character. Brian won't agree because we don't have controversy on this pod.
Totally out of character for Danny. Yeah, he's more fouled against than fouling, certainly.
Yeah, so they're down to 10, and now Glebe are on the attack. A cross comes in from the right. Glebe now on the edge of the box. It's getting very squeaky bum now. The Erith and Belvedere management aren't overly happy, to say the least. Cross now is going to come in from the left hand side. It's blocked well, and it goes out for a throw on. Still 2-1 to the 10 men. Erith and Belvedere. Cross comes in. It's cleared. And it's definitely getting exciting. We're nearly finished now, and Brian is worried. We're finished. It's done. Brian just said to me we've conceded 2, or we being Erith and Belvedere, obviously we're neutral in this pod when it comes to the non-league. They've conceded 2 97th minute equalisers, so yeah, very, very happy. Good result for Erith and Belvedere. What do you make of the game overall, Brian? While he's live tweeting, so look, there we are, there's an inside thing. You think it's a bot or it's some young media college dropout? No,
it's me.
It's Brian, book writer.
The result's the main thing. It's the performance is neither here nor there really after this. But we've got the 3 points. We need 4 more points for the title. And that's all. That's the bottom line. And how many more games left? 3. 4 from 3. So we've got Tuesday night. We're home to Deal next Tuesday. So
there we are. Do this now. Next Tuesday, if anyone fancies it. So So this is Michael Avery with Brian Sporrell signing off. We're going to have a quick up the deers. Up the deers. Up the deers.
Up the deers.
There we go. Thank you for listening, dear listener, to this Achtung Grassroots.